Jedediah's ranch wasn't much to look at. The fences sagged like tired smiles, and the barn roof had more holes than a well-used sieve. Dust devils danced across the parched fields, mocking his efforts to coax life from the stubborn land. He was a good man, Jedediah, honest and hard-working, but luck seemed to have skipped his doorstep. His days were long and lonely. Sunrise to sunset, he toiled, mending fences, tending to his meager herd of cattle, and praying for rain that never came. Evenings were spent in the quiet solitude of his small cabin, the only sound the crackling fire and the mournful howl of coyotes in the distance. He missed the sound of laughter, the warmth of companionship. He longed for someone to share his life with, someone to help him mend not just the fences, but the emptiness in his heart. The nearest town, Harmony Gulch, was a stagecoach ride away, but Jedediah rarely went. He didn't have much money to spend, and the townsfolk, while generally friendly, saw him as a bit of a recluse, a man destined to fail. He tried not to let their opinions bother him, but sometimes, the weight of their judgment felt heavier than the drought that plagued his land. Jedediah just wanted to make something of his ranch, a place to be proud of, a place to call home. But the odds were stacked against him, and he knew it. He was a man running out of time and hope. The quiet of Jedediah's evening was shattered not by coyotes this time, but by the arrival of a dust-covered stagecoach, a rare sight at this late hour. He watched as it rattled to a stop near his property line, the horses heaving and snorting. He squinted, trying to make out who would be visiting at this hour. A gruff voice called out, "Jedediah Miller." "You there, Miller?" Jedediah cautiously approached. A stern-looking man in a worn leather vest stepped down from the stagecoach. He held a crumpled newspaper in his hand. "I got news, Miller." "News about Black Bart." Jedediah felt a knot form in his stomach. Black Bart. The name echoed with a mixture of fear and a strange sense of obligation. Bart was a notorious outlaw, a legend whispered around campfires, a thorn in the side of lawmen for years. What could he possibly have to do with Jedediah? The man continued, his voice flat and unsympathetic. "Black Bart's been caught. Finally. After all these years, they got him. But..." He paused, unfolding the newspaper. "There's a daughter. A girl. Seems Bart didn't have nobody else to take her." He looked at Jedediah with a strange expression. "Says here she's about 10 years old. Name's Lily." The man paused. "And it says here that Black Bart wants you to take care of her." Jedediah stared at the man, dumbfounded. "Me? Why me? I haven't seen Bart in, well, it must be 15 years. The stagecoach driver shrugged. "Don't ask me, Miller. Just delivering the message. Bart said you'd understand." He gestured towards the stagecoach. "The girl's inside. Scared half to death, I reckon. We're heading back to Harmony Gulch. You gonna take her or not?" Jedediah hesitated. Taking in the daughter of a notorious outlaw? It was madness. The town would never accept it. But then, a memory flickered in his mind. A harsh winter, years ago. Jedediah, then a young man, had been caught in a blizzard, lost and freezing. Black Bart, a shadowy figure even then, had found him, shared his meager supplies, and guided him back to safety. Bart hadn't asked for anything in return, just vanished into the storm. "He saved my life," Jedediah murmured, more to himself than the driver. He owed Bart a debt. A big one. And a little girl shouldn't have to pay for her father's sins. He took a deep breath. "I'll take her," he said, his voice firm. "I'll take care of Lily." The driver nodded, relieved. "All right, Miller. She's all yours." He turned back to the stagecoach and with a final creak, the stagecoach pulled away, leaving Jedediah alone with his thoughts and the daunting task ahead. Jedediah approached the stagecoach cautiously. He opened the door slowly, and a small figure huddled in the corner flinched. It was Lily. She was smaller than he expected, with tangled dark hair and eyes that darted around nervously. She wore a simple, patched dress and clutched a worn-out teddy bear. "Hello, Lily," Jedediah said gently, kneeling so he wasn't so imposing. "I'm Jedediah. Your pa asked me to look after you." Lily didn't say anything, just stared at him with suspicion. He could see the fear in her eyes, the expectation of harsh treatment. He knew he had to tread carefully. "It's all right, Lily," he continued, his voice soft. "You're safe here. I know this is probably scary, but I promise I won't hurt you. I'll do my best to take care of you." He offered her a hand, and after a moment's hesitation, she took it. Her hand was small and surprisingly calloused. He helped her down from the stagecoach, and she stood beside him, still clutching her bear tightly. "Come on," Jedediah said, offering a small smile. "Let's get you inside. It's not much, but it's home." He led her towards the cabin, hoping he could somehow ease her worries and show her that not everyone would judge her for her father's actions. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to give Lily a chance at a normal life, a life far removed from the shadow of Black Bart. The inside of Jedediah's cabin was simple, but clean. A small fireplace crackled merrily, casting a warm glow on the rough-hewn wooden walls. A single bed was neatly made in the corner, and a small table and 2 chairs sat near the window. Lily looked around, her eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "It's not fancy," Jedediah said, noticing her gaze, "but it's home. You can have the bed. I'll sleep on the floor." Lily shook her head. "I can sleep on the floor," she mumbled, still clutching her teddy bear. "Nonsense," Jedediah chuckled. "You're the guest. Besides," he winked, "my old bones aren't as fond of the floor as they used to be." He showed her where the wash basin was and offered her a clean towel. "You must be tired and dusty. Wash up, and then I'll fix us some supper." As Lily washed her face, Jedediah busied himself preparing a simple meal of beans and bread. He glanced at Lily, noticing the way she carefully washed her hands, scrubbing away the grime of the road. He wondered what kind of life she had lived with Black Bart. He imagined it couldn't have been easy, constantly on the run, always looking over her shoulder. He hoped he could provide her with the stability and security she deserved. He just hoped he was up to the task. The task of raising a daughter, especially one who was an outlaw's daughter. It was a scary thought. The first few days were interesting. Jedediah was used to a certain routine, a quiet rhythm of ranch life. Lily, on the other hand, seemed to have never experienced anything like it. One morning, Jedediah woke up to find Lily missing. He searched everywhere, panic rising in his chest, before finding her perched on the roof of the barn, calmly watching the sunrise. "Lily! What are you doing up there? You could have fallen." Lily shrugged. "Pa used to say the best view was from the highest point." Another time, Jedediah asked her to fetch the chickens. He came back later to find the chickens happily roosting inside the cabin, Lily having decided they were cold outside. "They looked lonely," she explained with a perfectly straight face. Jedediah tried to teach her how to milk a cow, but Lily insisted on talking to the cow first, asking it politely for milk. The cow, understandably confused, kicked over the bucket. Jedediah just sighed. Mealtimes were another adventure. Lily ate with her fingers, declared vegetables disgusting, and once tried to trade her beans for Jedediah's pocketknife. He soon realized that raising an outlaw's daughter was going to be a lot more challenging than fixing a broken fence. But amidst the chaos and misunderstandings, he also saw glimpses of a bright, curious, and surprisingly funny little girl. And he was starting to enjoy the company, even if it was a little wild. One afternoon, Jedediah was struggling to mend a section of the fence. Lily, who had been watching him with a curious expression, suddenly spoke up. "Can I help?" Jedediah raised an eyebrow. You wouldn't even hold a hammer right." Lily's eyes flashed with defiance. I can do it. Just show me. Reluctantly, Jedediah showed her how to hold the hammer and drive in the nails. To his surprise, Lily was a natural. She hammered with surprising strength and accuracy, quickly mastering the task. Soon, they were working side by side, mending the fence together. As they worked, Jedediah noticed a small scar on Lily's arm, hidden beneath her sleeve. "What's that?" he asked gently. Lily hesitated, then shrugged. "Just a scratch. From a fire." Jedediah didn't press her, but he suspected it was more than just a scratch. He realized that beneath her tough exterior, Lily was a vulnerable little girl who had seen more than her fair share of hardship. He felt a surge of protectiveness towards her, a desire to shield her from the harsh realities of the world. And he knew, more than ever, that he wanted to give her a better life, a life filled with love, security, and the simple joys of ranch life. He just hoped he was capable of providing it. As the weeks passed, Jedediah instilled in Lily the importance of responsibility. He showed her how to care for the animals, how to tend to the small vegetable garden, and how to appreciate the value of hard work. He made sure she understood that things didn't just appear, they required effort and dedication. Lily, in turn, brought a spark of adventure into Jedediah's life. She encouraged him to try new things, to step outside of his comfort zone. She convinced him to go fishing in the creek, even though he hadn't fished in years. She taught him how to skip stones, a skill she had learned from her father. She even persuaded him to dance under the stars one night, something he hadn't done since he was a young man. Jedediah found himself laughing more, smiling more, feeling more alive than he had in years. Lily's presence had breathed new life into his ranch and into his heart. He was learning from her just as much as she was learning from him. She showed him that it was okay to be a little reckless, a little daring, a little wild. And he, in turn, was teaching her that true strength came not from running from responsibility, but from embracing it. They were an unlikely pair, but they were slowly, surely, becoming a family. Jedediah's growing happiness didn't go unnoticed. Silas Blackwood, a wealthy and influential rancher, had always coveted Jedediah's land. Silas saw Jedediah's struggling ranch as an easy target, a piece of property ripe for the taking. But Jedediah had always stubbornly refused to sell. Now, with Lily in the picture, Silas saw an opportunity. He started spreading rumors in town, whispering about the dangers of harboring the daughter of an outlaw. He painted Lily as a threat, a ticking time bomb just waiting to explode. He reminded everyone of Black Bart's crimes and implied that Lily was destined to follow in her father's footsteps. "She's got bad blood in her veins," Silas would say, his voice dripping with malice. "It's only a matter of time before she causes trouble. Jedediah's a fool for taking her in." Silas's words began to poison the town. People who had once been friendly to Jedediah now eyed him with suspicion. Whispers followed him and Lily wherever they went. Jedediah knew that Silas was trying to isolate him, to pressure him into selling his land. But he refused to give in. He wouldn't let Silas ruin Lily's chance at a normal life. He would protect her, no matter the cost. He would stand up to Silas and show the town that Lily was not her father. She was her own person, and she deserved a chance. The tension in Harmony Gulch reached a boiling point during the town's annual harvest festival. Silas, emboldened by his success in turning the town against Jedediah, publicly confronted him in front of the entire community. "Look at you, Miller," Silas sneered, his voice booming across the square. "Harboring a viper in your own home. Are you really so blind that you can't see what she is? She's Black Bart's daughter. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree." Lily, who had been happily enjoying the festivities, shrank back, her eyes filling with tears. Jedediah stepped forward, placing a protective arm around her. "That's enough, Silas." Jedediah's voice, though usually quiet, resonated with unexpected strength. "Lily is not her father. She is a kind, hard-working, and good-hearted girl. She deserves a chance, just like anyone else. He turned to the crowd, his gaze sweeping across their faces. I know some of you have doubts. I know some of you are scared. But I ask you to look at Lily, really look at her. See the goodness in her heart. See the potential for a bright future. Don't let fear and prejudice blind you to the truth. He paused, then added, I believe in Lily. And I hope, with all my heart, that you will too. His words hung in the air, silencing the crowd. For the first time, some of the townsfolk began to question Silas's motives. They saw the genuine love and protectiveness in Jedediah's eyes, and they started to wonder if they had been wrong about Lily. The tide was slowly beginning to turn. Just when it seemed like the town was starting to accept Lily, a violent storm descended upon the ranch. The sky turned a menacing shade of gray, the wind howled like a banshee, and rain lashed down in sheets. Jedediah knew they were in trouble. We need to get the animals to safety, he shouted to Lily over the roar of the wind. The barn roof might not hold. Together, they braved the storm, herding the cattle into the sturdiest part of the barn. The wind tore at their clothes, and the rain stung their faces, but they persevered. Lily, surprisingly, showed no fear. She was strong and determined, herding the animals with a skill that belied her age. As they worked, a tree branch crashed down near the cabin, narrowly missing the roof. Jedediah knew they had to secure the building before it was too late. They worked together, boarding up the windows and reinforcing the doors. Finally, exhausted and soaked to the bone, they huddled together inside the cabin, listening to the fury of the storm rage outside. The fire crackled in the hearth, casting a warm glow on their faces. They were safe, for now. In the midst of the storm, Jedediah realized something profound. He and Lily had faced the storm together, as a team, as a family. Their bond had been forged in the crucible of hardship, and it was stronger than ever before. He knew, without a doubt, that they could face anything, as long as they had each other. The storm eventually passed, leaving behind a scene of devastation. Trees were uprooted, fences were broken, and the land was covered in debris. But amidst the destruction, there was also a sense of peace, a feeling of gratitude for having survived. Jedediah and Lily emerged from the cabin, blinking in the sunlight. They surveyed the damage, a shared understanding passing between them. They had a lot of work ahead of them, but they would face it together. As they began to clear away the debris, Jedediah noticed Lily shivering. He took off his coat and placed it around her shoulders. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with warmth and gratitude. In that moment, something shifted between them. Jedediah saw Lily not just as the little girl he was taking care of, but as a young woman with a kind heart and a fierce spirit. He felt a stirring of something he hadn't felt in years, a spark of attraction, a flicker of hope. Lily, too, felt a change. She saw Jedediah not just as her guardian, but as a strong, compassionate man who had shown her kindness and love when she needed it most. She felt safe and secure in his presence, and she realized that she was starting to care for him in a way that went beyond gratitude. They stood there for a long moment, the silence broken only by the chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves. Their eyes met, and they both knew that something special was blossoming between them. But they also knew that their pasts, their age difference, and the judgment of the town stood in the way. Their feelings were complicated, dangerous even, but they couldn't deny the connection that had formed between them. The newfound peace was shattered just as quickly as it had arrived. One evening, a lone rider approached the ranch, his face hidden by a wide-brimmed hat. As he drew closer, Jedediah recognized the man's distinctive gait, the way he sat in the saddle. It was Black Bart. Lily gasped, a mixture of fear and excitement in her eyes. Jedediah's heart pounded in his chest. He knew this moment was inevitable, but he wasn't prepared for it. Jedediah, Bart said, his voice raspy but firm. I hear you've been taking care of my little girl. I've come to take her home. Jedediah stepped forward, blocking Bart's path. Bart, you can't do this. Lily's safe here. She's happy. She's got a chance at a normal life. Bart's eyes narrowed. Normal life? What kind of normal life can she have with you, an old, struggling rancher? She belongs with me. I'm her father. You're an outlaw, Bart. Jedediah retorted. You can't give her the life she deserves. She needs stability, security, love. Love? Bart scoffed. You think you can give her love? You're just using her to fill the void in your own lonely life. Jedediah's jaw tightened. Bart's words stung, but he knew he couldn't let them affect him. He had to protect Lily, even from her own father. Lily stays here, Bart, he said firmly. I won't let you take her back to that life. The tension between the two men was thick in the air, a storm brewing that threatened to tear everything apart. Bart reached for his gun, and Jedediah knew he had to act fast. He lunged forward, grabbing Bart's arm. A struggle ensued, a desperate fight for Lily's future. They wrestled on the dusty ground, each man determined to win. Lily watched in horror, tears streaming down her face. Pa! Jedediah! Stop! Jedediah managed to disarm Bart, tossing the gun aside. He pinned Bart to the ground, his voice filled with desperation. Bart, listen to me. I know you love Lily. But this isn't the way. You can't give her what she needs. You'll just drag her back into a life of crime and danger. He paused, searching Bart's eyes. Think about what's best for her, Bart. Not what you want, but what she needs. She needs a home, a family, a future. Jedediah's words seemed to penetrate Bart's anger. He saw the genuine love in Jedediah's eyes, the unwavering determination to protect Lily. He saw the possibility of a better life for his daughter, a life he could never provide. Slowly, Bart's resistance faded. He closed his eyes, a single tear rolling down his cheek. You're right, he whispered, his voice filled with pain. I can't give her what she needs. He opened his eyes and looked at Lily, his expression filled with a mixture of sadness and love. Lily, he said softly, I want you to be happy. You stay here with Jedediah. He'll take care of you. He looked back at Jedediah. I surrender, he said, his voice barely audible. Just promise me you'll always look after her. The next morning, the sheriff arrived to take Black Bart back into custody. Bart embraced Lily one last time, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and hope. Be good, Lily Bug, he whispered, using the nickname he had given her when she was a baby. I'll always be thinking of you. As Bart was led away, Lily stood silently, watching him go. Jedediah placed a hand on her shoulder, offering her comfort. He knew this was a difficult moment for her, a crossroads in her life. After the sheriff and Bart had gone, Jedediah knelt down in front of Lily. Lily, he said gently, I know this is hard. Your pa loves you very much. But he wants you to be happy, and he thinks you'll be happier here. He paused, giving her time to process his words. The choice is yours, Lily. You can go with your pa, or you can stay here with me. I won't be angry or hurt if you choose to go. I just want you to be happy. What do you want to do? Lily looked at Jedediah, her eyes filled with tears. She thought about her father, about the life they had shared, the adventures they had had together. But she also thought about Jedediah, about the kindness he had shown her, the love he had given her, the home he had provided. The decision was the hardest she had ever had to make. Her heart felt like it would break. Which way to go? It was up to her. Lily looked at Jedediah, her eyes shining with a newfound resolve. I want to stay here, she said, her voice firm and clear. I want to stay here with you. Jedediah smiled, his heart overflowing with happiness. He pulled Lily into a warm embrace. I'm glad, Lily Bug, he said softly. I'm very glad. As the days turned into weeks, Lily fully embraced her new life. She continued to help Jedediah on the ranch, her skills growing with each passing day. She also started attending the small schoolhouse in Harmony Gulch, making friends and excelling in her studies. The town, witnessing Lily's transformation and Jedediah's unwavering love and support, finally accepted her as one of their own. Silas Blackwood, seeing his plans thwarted, slunk away, defeated. Jedediah's ranch, once on the brink of collapse, began to thrive. The rains came, the crops flourished, and the animals prospered. He and Lily worked side by side, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. As the sun set each evening, they would sit on the porch, watching the stars twinkle in the night sky. They were no longer alone. They had found love, family, and a future together. The ranch was no longer just a struggling farm, it was a home, a place of hope, a testament to the power of kindness, forgiveness, and love. And though their relationship was unconventional, it was their relationship, a unique spark lit in the most unlikely of places, hinting at a long and happy life together.